Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really getting into something quite profound. What does it actually mean to live a life of integrity, of alignment? Often described with this maybe slightly old-fashioned word, blamelessness.
Yeah, it's a powerful concept.
And our sources for this deep dive, they're this fascinating collection of, well, ancient spiritual texts, wisdom writings. They all seem to circle around this idea of walking with integrity.
As a way towards spiritual cleansing, even blessing.
Exactly. So our mission today, let's try and pull out the core insights, see how this ancient idea of blamelessness could actually give us a fresh angle on finding some wholeness, maybe some clarity in our pretty chaotic world. We'll unpack it, share some examples that might surprise you, and see how it connects to, well, our emotional lives too.
And maybe the best place to start, the real anchor for this whole discussion, comes from Psalm 119, verse 1. It says, "Blessed are those whose ways are blameless, who walk according to the law of the Lord."
Blessed are those. Powerful stuff.
It really is, and there are layers to that,
Yeah.
We're going to peel those back today, see what blessed and whole might really look like through this lens.
Okay, so let's dive right in. This word blameless, it sounds, well, it sounds a bit intimidating, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like you have to be perfect, never put a foot wrong.
That's the common reaction, definitely. I think our modern ears hear it that way.
Yeah.
But what's so interesting in these sources is that's not really it at all. It's not about perfection.
Okay, so what is it then?
It's much more about walking with integrity, like
Okay.
having an undivided heart, being really committed to living in line with your core principles.
Undivided heart. I like that.
Yeah, and the actual Hebrew word here, tamim, it means something like complete or whole or even mature.
Okay. So complete, whole, not flawless.
Exactly. So that verse could almost read, happy and whole are those whose lives are, truly aligned with fundamental truths, like being all there integrated.
Right. So it's much less about a perfect score sheet and way more about sort of the posture of your heart, the direction you're facing.
That's it, precisely. The texts really clarify this. Being blameless is about being fully surrendered to those guiding principles. Being open to, well, correction when you drift,
Which happens.
of course, and being covered, which isn't about hiding, but more implies the state of acceptance, of continually being brought back into alignment. It's dynamic.
That makes such a difference. And what really hit me in the sources was seeing this wasn't just abstract. It pops up in stories, in lives.
Right.
Like Job, right?
Yes, Job 1.1 describes him as blameless and upright. He feared God and shunned evil. It's a description of his character, his orientation.
And then there's that foundational moment with Abraham in Genesis 17.1.
God tells him, walk before me faithfully and be blameless.
Walk faithfully.
Yeah.
Be blameless.
So if you connect those dots, you see this pattern. A blameless life, according to these sources, it's one that consistently points back towards that alignment, that higher standard, even with setbacks, big ones sometimes.
Right.
The real emphasis is on getting back up, turning back to the path, not pretending you never stumbled.
Okay, that clarifies the what. But how does this actually look, on the ground in different places, different lives? Our sources gave some pretty compelling global examples.
And what's fascinating is how universal these struggles and choices are. Like, take this story from Ghana. A young teenager, Esther,
Okay.
facing huge peer pressure, like
Yeah.
the usual stuff, drugs, dating pressures, cheating in school. But she decides to stick to her principles, apparently reading Psalm 119 every day for strength.
Wow, daily. That's commitment.
Right, and she got mocked for it, apparently. But then one of her friends tragically attempted suicide. And who did they call?
Esther.
Esther. It shows how that quiet, consistent integrity, that blameless stance, it doesn't just stay personal. It can shine outwards. It can even, as the sources phrase it, cleanse atmospheres, become an anchor point.
Cleanse atmospheres. That's a powerful idea.
Isn't it? Then there's a story from Italy, a newlywed couple. They chose not to live together before marriage, which apparently brought some social shame or pressure.
I can imagine.
But they held firm to their conviction. And over time, their marriage actually became this quiet model for others wrestling with similar cultural pressures.
Well, there's stand-head ripples.
Exactly. And one more from Brazil, a street evangelist. This guy had a really rough past, crime, addiction, the works. But he started reading Psalm 119 daily, and his life just transformed. Now he leaves morning prayers in the favelas. His own journey, his integrity now speaks volumes.
Incredible stories. So it's really not just about keeping your own nose clean, so to speak.
Yeah.
It's about how that inner alignment can genuinely impact the world around you, that ripple effect.
Precisely. It has an outward dimension.
Okay, now something that comes up again and again in these texts connected to blamelessness is the law of the Lord.
Yeah.
And I have to admit, the word law, for many of us, it sounds restrictive, right?
Yeah.
Like just a list of rules.
That's a really common and important point to address. It can sound heavy.
Yeah. So what do the sources mean when they talk about this law as being like a cleansing agent?
Well, they clarify that it's not about restriction in the way we might think. This law, which includes commandments, statutes, precepts, all these facets, it's presented more as a reflection of like a perfect higher character. Principles for flourishing.
Okay, principles for flourishing.
Yeah. Think of Psalm 19.7, which says, "The law of the Lord is perfect, refreshing the soul."
Refreshing the soul, not burdening it.
Exactly. The idea is that engaging with these principles actually refreshes. It cleanses our thinking, our desires, our choices. So walking according to them isn't meant to lead to guilt, but actually to joy, to purity.
That shifts the perspective quite a bit. So thinking about this for you, the listener, these texts kind of invite a moment of reflection, don't they?
They really do.
Maybe ask yourself, where in my life might I have, drifted a bit from my own core principles?
Yeah.
Maybe without even fully realizing it.
Mm-hmm. Are there compromises, maybe small ones, that have kind of dulled your sense of clarity or integrity?
Yeah.
And the encouragement from these sources is pretty direct. Today is the day you can choose to return, not through like gritting your teeth and forcing it,
Right.
but more through surrender, through just consciously choosing to align again with those principles that you know bring you wholeness, bring you peace.
This idea of cleansing, it goes even deeper in the sources connecting to grief and emotional healing. That feels incredibly relevant right now.
It really does. And what's striking is the compassion here. The texts seem to acknowledge this wide range of mourning happening globally.
Like what specifically?
Well, they mention families in places like Maui or parts of California dealing with the trauma of losing homes, loved ones to wildfires.
Yeah, heartbreaking.
Or communities in Sri Lanka, Indonesia, living with the fear of tsunamis, the aftershocks. And even things like, say, people in the Caribbean mourning a beloved public figure, a local icon. Different kinds of loss, but all deeply felt.
So it spans personal tragedy and collective grief.
Yes, and the consistent message across these texts is this profound reassurance. You are not forgotten.
That's powerful.
It is. They offer specific comforting verses like Psalm 34.18. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit.
Close to the brokenhearted.
And there's another really striking one from John 15.3. You are already clean because of the word I have spoken to you, which suggests that just engaging with these life-giving principles can itself be a purifying, healing act.
Wow. So alignment isn't just about ethics. It's about finding refuge. It can even purify our grief. That really underlines the emotional depth of this whole blamelessness idea.
Absolutely. It's deeply personal.
The sources also seem to encourage taking some time for personal reflection, almost like a guided journaling exercise. Maybe we can take a moment, invite you, the listener, to do something similar right now.
Yeah, that feels right. The text posts some really direct questions we can reflect on. Things like, where am I maybe looking for validation from, external things, people's opinions, status, instead of trusting my own core principles, my inner compass?
Good question.
Or what area of my life feels like it needs some cleansing, some realigning with what I truly value?
Yeah.
And maybe most practically, how can I walk with integrity today, just today, in my thoughts, my actions, my decisions right now?
And as you ponder that, maybe try to identify just one concrete step.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be huge. What's one thing you can do today to align your path a little more closely with your deepest values?
The sources give examples, right? Could be making that difficult phone call, maybe cutting off a relationship that you know is toxic.
Or something simpler, like deleting an app that just drains your time and focus.
Or committing to 5 minutes of quiet reflection each day, just checking in with those principles, something tangible.
Let's circle back before we wrap up, just to reinforce that global dimension again. The sources are full of these diverse examples.
Yeah, it really drives home that this path of integrity, it's not confined to one culture or background, it's universal.
Like the Nigerian politician.
Right. A Christian politician who refused bribes, just consistently walked blamelessly in his role, and later he was actually appointed to a national integrity board because of that reputation.
Wow, okay. Real-world impact.
Definitely. Or in Germany, a teenager started an online series about purity, about living with integrity, inspired by similar themes. And it apparently inspired hundreds of other young people.
That's amazing, from a teens initiative.
Then in India, a father who'd been distant from his family, he started applying these core principles, focusing on prayer and reconciliation, and he restored his family relationships.
Powerful personal transformation.
And one more from Haiti. After power outages, a pastor started leading nighttime Bible studies just by candlelight. A beautiful image of how these principles can literally light the way, even when everything else goes dark.
Light the way.
So the sources conclude, really hopefully, that blameless individuals are emerging in every nation. It's happening everywhere.
That's a really uplifting note. We've covered a lot of ground today, really taken a deep dive into this path of the blameless, what it means to live with integrity, how that connects to emotional healing, to cleansing our lives by aligning with core principles, all drawn from these rich ancient texts.
And I think the key takeaway, as we've seen, is that this journey towards blamelessness, towards wholeness, it isn't about chasing some impossible standard of perfection.
Right.
It's more about an ongoing commitment, a gentle but firm commitment, the wholeness to surrender, and ultimately to finding that deep peace that comes from living in alignment with truth.
Just as maybe a final thought for you to carry with you. In a world that puts so much emphasis on external stuff, on achievements, on what things look like,
Yeah.
what if real influence, lasting impact, actually starts quietly, inside? With that commitment to blamelessness, to integrity,
Yeah.
how might cultivating that inner alignment ripple out into your world, maybe in ways you can't even predict?
And just as a little preview, if this conversation has sparked something in you, if you're curious to explore further, these sources naturally lead into the next phase of this journey, the idea of wholehearted pursuit.
Okay. So there's more to uncover.
Definitely. It builds directly on this foundation of blamelessness, digging deeper into that journey of alignment and finding purpose. So something to look forward to, perhaps.